I'm gonna get so much hate from My Hero Academia community for this. I just fucking know it. But welcome to Kotaku. Today we're talking about why My Hero Vigilante is better than My Hero Academia. You know, the main series. Why the side series is better. Um, yeah. But here we go. Someone just texted me, or probably not. I don't have friends, so I won't know what that's like. But yeah, let's get into it. Um, First things first, I want to talk about. I have it broken up into sections right here, like written down. So I have it broken up into sections. Yeah, but first things first, let's talk about the world building in this. I think. Let me start off by saying this. I like My Hero Academia. Okay, I like My Hero. Okay, I don't hate it. It's a 7 out of 10. While this is an 8 out of 10. This ain't even that much better. It's just better. Okay, and give me a second to explain, or a couple minutes, because this is not gonna go by in just a couple seconds. Hold up, I'll just no, I'm just kidding. But let's explain. So I think with this, if you count this and My Hero Academia, I think My Hero Academia is actually way better because it explains, it does world building really good. It does world building actually way better. It builds on the My Hero Academia world way better. Let me say that. Like, world building in itself, if you treat it as its own thing, it's not great. But if you combine this world building with My Hero Academia, it's really fucking good. Like, I really enjoyed, because you get to meet more heroes and you get to see heroes just doing more common work instead of like saving the world, or All Might doing All Might things. You just get to see more of like the little heroes like Fat Gum. You get to see Eraserhead doing more little things, like just helping around. Like, not every crisis is saving the world in this. It's just random thugs just doing things most of the time, which I really like. The main character, I think, is way more likable than Deku. I think Deku is such a boring character. I mean, it's kind of just like, I'm gonna save everyone. I'm gonna be the hero. Yeah, yeah. I think that's so boring. I'm sorry. While this guy, he's just so much more of a normal guy, which makes him more likable. Like, he's not the smartest. He doesn't have the most strongest quirk. He's just a normal guy. He typically doesn't even defeat most of the villains in the series. That usually happens with the pros, which I really like, because something I really didn't like about My Hero Academia is how the hell are these high schoolers like competing with these fucking pro heroes? It made no sense. And in this, you see why, like, they're just super talented high schoolers, I guess, that can compete with them. But while you see like a normal citizen with a quirk just trying to battle like these huge monsters, they can't win. They just can't. Until later on, until they like train and stuff, until at the end of this story, well, it hasn't ended yet, but where it is right now in the most recent chapter, he is at the level of a pro hero, but it took years to get to that point for him. It didn't just happen overnight with like these high schoolers in My Hero. That's another thing I really liked about it. The villains, I actually got to give this one to My Hero. I think the villains in My Hero are way better. Well, Stain is way better, and then I really like the Nomu, and what other villains were there? Overhaul, he was alright. I feel like he was kind of just there. They didn't really build him up. I mean, they built him up, but I felt like it needed more time. I haven't read the manga part of that. I only watched the anime part of that, but I'm up to date with the manga. My Hero, I just skipped chapters to where I was in the anime, because fuck rereading all that. I already talked about World Pro Hero. You get to see more about the pro heroes, like Eraserhead. You get to see his backstory. Like, there's this one part in My Hero, in one of the chapters, it fucking essentially something really big happens to him, but you just don't feel anything because you've never heard of this thing until now, unless you read My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which I do not like. Like, I'm just gonna say it because it's not really that big of a spoiler, because if you're just watching My Hero, it doesn't matter. But essentially, like, Eraser's heads from high schools, like, or from UA's, like, best friend died, or like got trapped and like got tortured or whatever. But you've never heard of this guy until this point, and it felt really weird and off. until I read My Hero Academia and Vigilantes. So I was like, oh, now I feel for that character. Where the fuck was this in the main story? Well, you didn't get to see it, so boo-hoo. Um, side characters, um, which side characters like Pops and the old dude, they're likable. I think my favorite character personally is like the fucking old like punchy old man guy. I think his name's like Grandpa's Fist or something. It's some shit like that. But I really like him. You get to learn more about him, and I get really invested in him. And he seems like a really good character because I think what they're going for is like a symbolism between like All Might and like a comparison between All Might and what's his face, All Might and Deku compared to this guy and the main character of this, because that's like his master, and I personally like him way better than All Might because just is. Um, in this, you get to understand just how powerful the heroes are. Like I said before, heroes in My Hero, they feel weak, kind of, because these high schoolers, these kids can compare them. These first grade high schoolers, not even like last year, these first year high schoolers can compete with these pros. But in this, you get to see them do some fucking crazy ass shit. Like All Might, like makes like a fucking tornado, and he's not a character that appears often. He only appears sometimes. But when he is, he does something big. Like he fucking essentially takes care of all their problems in 1 second when he's on screen. And that's how it should be, because he's the #1 fucking hero. Okay, next thing. Quirks. I like the quirks in this. They feel a lot more unique. They don't feel just very basic or overpowered, like, oh, super speed, oh, fire and ice. I mean, I guess some of the quirks are unique and cool, but the quirks don't feel groundbreaking either, like, oh, fire and ice, that's like broken, or super speed. They're really neat, and mainly the main characters is really cool. It's essentially just slide and glide, which essentially just allows them to slide on the ground, and then the gliding thing comes later. Um, it's kind of like yeah, it's kind of like My Hero, but slice of life. Like, that's the best way you can put it. Like, it does have some bigger arcs and some overarching like villain, but like My Hero, you just get to see them essentially just living life in the My Hero world. This takes place before My Hero, so you won't get to see any of the UA high schoolers, only pro heroes that appear in there. And pro heroes appear a lot in this. Like, there is so many pro heroes that appear in this that you see in My Hero. It's kind of cool. And it starts off slow, I will say that also. But it picks up, I think, after the 20th chapter was when I, like, binged it in, like, a couple days. It only has, like, 100-something chapters. Like, 100 and... anywhere between 100 and 110, somewhere in between that number. I think 101. But yeah, I really... it starts off slow, but then it really picks up. There will sadly probably be no anime for this, so you probably have to read the manga if you want this, because My Hero's still going, and an anime may come out for it way later down the line. Like, when My Hero Academia ended, is what I read, because they want to, like, milk this cow as long as they can. Like, ooh, even after My Hero Academia ended, we're still sucking it dry. So, an anime probably won't come way later down the line. But if it does, that's great. This is a great series. And, you know, I don't think it's that popular, which is sad. But, yeah. Yeah. He's, in this series, he's also a super fan of All Might. Which, yeah. But he's not, like, obsessed over him like Deku. Like, he hasn't, like, wrote every single... he's just a fan of heroes, like a kid. Like, if you were a kid in this world, like, you would be obsessed with heroes. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm gonna buy their merch and stuff and things. It's really cool. And essentially, that's just because he always wears an All Might hoodie, and that's about it of his fanboy All Mightness. He just likes collecting All Might hoodies, which is something I could see a real life person doing in the world if My Hero Academia actually existed. Unlike Deku, where, like, he worships him like a fucking god. Like, has everything All Might. Just fucking crazy fanboy. Fights, the fights are alright. I prefer the fights in My Hero personally. I think they're better, but of course, because they're doing more extreme stuff compared to this, like, it's kind of like, I will say this, I do like the fights. If you've ever seen The Boys, like, some fights, they, like, have to figure out how to counter their quirks, which I do kind of like, because the Grandpa Fist guy, he doesn't have a quirk, and you have to see him, like, counteract, like, these guys with, like, big, hardening quirks, and then he has to figure out how to defeat them, which is a pretty cool touch. Yeah, but I'm trying to think what else. The romance in this, way better, let me say that. Uraraka and Deku, I don't like that. It feels boring. But the romance in this, it feels good. You're like, this is good. This is really good. Like, it's not like up to like a romance anime level, of course not, but it's a good little side. It's like a really good burger with like a good side of fries. Like, it's not like the best thing, but it adds a little flavor. It makes everything better, the romance in this. Better backstories. I think the characters have better backstories. I think why the character likes the other, like, why the main girl likes the main guy, I think it's a good reason. They don't have like these super sad backstories. They just have pretty normal lives. Like, I could see all this happening in real life for the most part. Yeah, but I'm trying to see what else I wrote. Characters feeling more real. Already said that. Sadly, no anime. Well, villains. They're all right. I mean, I already said this, but I like the My Hero Academia villains way better. They're kind of just boring. World building pro heroes back. Already said pro heroes backstories. Let me tell you what pro heroes you see in this story a lot. You see Eraser and Night Eye and the voice guy, and that's about it. Like, sometimes you'll get cameos from like Fat Gum, and I think there was only like 2 cameos of All Might and 1 cameo of Endeavor. You don't get to see them much like you would. Like, if this was real life, you would not get to see the pro hero that much. You never would. And what's really cool is, I meant to say this under the world building section, but you get to see an American hero for the first time, which is really cool because you get to see him like do things, and because we've never seen like we've never seen heroes from other parts of the world, so it's nice to learn that there are heroes. And I think America is like considered the strongest state, like the strongest place for heroes, which is really cool because you finally get to see that strength. And this hero is no joke. Like, it's a strong hero, not as strong as All Might, but I think he was like in the top 100. And then like you get to see like a redemption arc for him because he went to Japan to like better himself because something happened to him in America. And yeah, he's a really good character. At first I thought it was boring, but he becomes way better. Captain Celebrity, I think's his name, which is a really boring name. Which at first he kind of just looks like an All Might clone, but nah, it's way better. His quirk's cool. I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense, but it's cool. Yeah, this video's been going on for 13 minutes, and I'm kind of proud of that. And I talked, and I didn't think I stopped too much or said the same things too much, and all in all, yeah, I'm gonna stop it here. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe if you want. Check out my other videos, and bye.